All right, everybody. So this is DearMamaSal back again. I have no idea what happened, but I just apologize for the break in transmission. Uh, these things happen. And so, and I've also managed in all of that to turn off my lights, but so we'll get there. All right. So hopefully that you will find your way back. And in the meantime, I'm going to continue the broadcast from where I left off. And thank you for your patience. It's like, wow. Anyway, I think I was in the middle of talking about unboxing. And one of the other things that I did was last week I showed you that I got myself some BB cream that I was using. And my concern was, it came out of China and is it safe? And I just want to let you know that I've used it for a week and haven't had any problems at all. And in fact, I noticed it's a little stronger than I would want it to be. So I'm actually using a little bit of moisturizer to just bring it down a tad. So it's not quite as solid. Anyway, so that's right. I'm hoping that somebody can, yeah, people are watching. So that's good. Hi, people watching. Thank you. That tells me that you are able to see it. That's the main thing for me. All right. So I have no idea what caused the problem, so I don't know how to fix it. I don't know whether it was a problem with my internet provider or whether it's with my computer. So I just have to do the best I can with what I got. And that is I know it's not about me. Right? My self-esteem tells me this was way beyond my control, and therefore I'm sort of apologize, but that's all I can do, right? How about this one? Confidence. It's not they will like me. Confidence is I will be fine even if they don't. And I wonder how many of you, feel that. It is just like I wonder how many of you feel. I've got to get people to like me. I don't do that anymore. I'm not interested in people around me that I need to work at making them like me. What I want are people around me that like me as I am, so I don't have to concentrate on that. And that requires a large amount of self-esteem. It requires that I go, who I am is good enough. Who I am is good enough. And if you don't like who I am, then this is something that you have an issue with, not me. And by the way, and I uphold your right not to like me. It's like, I don't need you to like me. I will be sad to lose you, but I don't need you to like me for me to feel good about me. And when we've reached that level, you'll be amazed the difference that it makes in your life. You're not constantly trying to do things. On the other hand, I do notice that I do things that are quite funny. I was trying to help somebody this week, trying to help them do something. And when I found out that they already had managed to do it without my being there, I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just pretending to care." And, they wrote back to me and they said, "Well, you failed because we know you do." But it was interesting. I had a situation happen to me yesterday where my neighbor at the back here, behind me here right now, as I'm speaking to you, quite, after it was dark, sent me a quick text and said, "Could I come to the back door?" And I've got a back door that I made a little step ladder because there's a high hedge between us. And so I've made this little step ladder that I can walk up so that I can see over the hedge. And I got up there and said, "What's up?" And it turned out she had a printer problem. Well, you can't fix printer problems from standing on a step there. So I said, "Well, hang on, let me come over." But, I went over, and for those of us who live in Canada, we now have a vaccine passport. The thing is that once you've got it, You need to be able to print it if you want. You can keep it on your phone, but if you want to have hard copies, some of us do. You need to print it out. And I actually printed out two. One that's just a regular one, and then I laminated one just so that I had that backup if I needed it. I wasn't quite sure if the laminated one would scan properly, but we'll find out one day. So, and if it does, then I don't need the paper one because the laminate one will work. But anyway, I went over there, and one of the things that was happening was that the security measure in the passport doesn't allow you to just print it off and it becomes what you need it to be. You actually need to take a screenshot of the thing and then print the screenshot. Well, that's a bit of technical stuff, isn't it, for those people who don't use computers a great deal. And, I said to her, have you heard of that your computer, I checked first to make sure that it had got it, has a program called Snip and Sketch? And she went, what? And I said, well, it takes a screenshot for you. So I went through the process of how to find it. And once I'd showed her basically how to find it, I then showed her what it does. And then I got off her chair. I went back to the beginning, got off her chair and said, okay, now you sit down and I'll see how you do. Because, there's something about telling somebody what to do that it doesn't stay in their brain. How many of you recognize this, that you are a lot more confident when you've done something, not when you've seen it done, when you physically have done it. So what I did was I said, okay, see how well I did. Let's see what you can remember. And she did really well. And she got all the way to printing it, which was excellent. And then to make sure that it was in her brain, I said, all right, now do the second one, because she wanted one for herself and one for her husband. And she then applied for the second one and then got it and then went through the steps to get this snip and sketch. So those of you who don't know, in the old days, we used to just press a button. And it was pretty quick, but the buttons seem to change all the time. So it's good to know that there is a program in your Windows 10, if you're using Windows 10, that allows you to do that. What I like about it actually is that you can take the screenshot, but it also allows you to edit it if you want to do something. For example, somebody delivered something to my house this week, and then instead of doing a 3-point turn, they decided to take a wide turn, went over 2 of my neighbors' properties with their tires. And so what I did is when I wrote to the people who were doing the deliveries, I said, I took the picture of the properties and said, instead of doing a 3-point turn, he went in this loop. And I actually drew the loop on the picture and then sent that to them. And then send pictures of the damage he did. So it's a very useful tool to have for those of you who might not know about it. By the way, if any of you have a viewer question, please make sure we get it. If you have something that you're struggling with and you'd like some more input on, please send it to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com. And we will do our best to add it to the list and include it in one of the upcoming broadcasts. How about this one? Don't give your past the power to define your future. Well, that's what it says, but there's part of me that goes, I'm not sure that I 100% agree with it, because to me, some of my past is about how I am a survivor. Some of my past tells me, hey, I've been in a situation like this before and I've overcome it. And that is part of my self-esteem. What do you think? All right. And that is like, hey, yeah, I know this is difficult, but I've been through difficult before and got to the other side of it. So that is important. Some of you will remember, for example, that last week I was struggling because I needed to pay a big bill that had come for the upgrading of my bathroom. And, the big joke was I paid it off over, you can only transfer so much money a day with my bank account. And I had to do it over like 4 days. It reminds me, I haven't done today's. I had to do it over 4 days. Well, the interesting thing was that there was then a problem And I had to start all over again. So I literally delayed it by 4 days. Don't know why, but yeah, it's funny how those things happen. All right. So my question is, when you are feeling insecure, and that really is part of what self-esteem is all about, right? When you're feeling insecure, it means that your self-esteem is down. I talk to people who challenge my thinking. People who've helped me over the years, right? People who don't tolerate a pity party from me because they know that doesn't help me. And they're my friends because they don't tolerate the pity party. All right. And they'll go, yeah, I heard that. Now what are you going to do about it? you know? And that's, and then I start to laugh and go, okay, I thought I'd try. And I think that's, in my book, those are my friends. All right. They can be kind to me and say, hey, Sal, that sounds terrible. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And well, what are you going to do about it? You see, and they help me in doing that because they know that's who I am. That's where I want to go back to. Sitting and crying about it isn't going to fix anything. Doing something about it is what fixes things, right? And so what I found is that really important to have those people in your life. And I would recommend that you tell your friends, hey, I need you to be my friend, not my sympathy person. And people will go, what? And I go, well, I can go anywhere and get sympathy. All right. What I want is a friend who will go, okay, fine, I heard that. Now then, what are you going to do about it? Hi there, Doge. The real Doge. Gamer. I'm going to call you Gamer. It's easy. Good to see you. Anyway, so I like those people because they also remind me how many things I have overcome in my life. All right. And they'll say, this sounds a lot like, that you did back 5 years ago. And, what can you bring from that time into the present? So think about that. And how about this quote? That nothing can bring you peace but yourself. I think all too often in this day and age, we expect somebody else to bring us happiness. We expect somebody else to bring us self-esteem. We expect somebody else to teach to cook something for us. All right, because the truth is, if we are human beings, we also become human doings, right? That we actually realize that it's in the doing that we grow. Life is not easy, all right? It sucks sometimes. But it is in knowing that we will somehow do our best. I don't know whether I will be alive to do the next broadcast or the next week's broadcast or none of us know this stuff. But the truth is, I try to act as if, hey, I'm going to pretend that it is. And that's how I'm going to live my life, that I'm going to be absolutely fine next week. And I will plan and I will do the work that's needed and everything else. And I'll keep growing and teaching myself stuff and learning from other people. You see, it all helps my self-esteem. I don't know about you, but I found giving thanks a lot helps my self-esteem. All right. Hi, Nada. Always a pleasure to see you. All right. Yeah, and you see, listen to this mentality. Nada's saying, I've been going through some stuff, but I'm alive. Yeah, be grateful for that. All right. And so, absolutely. And thoughts and prayers. Nada, you are, one of those people that you're trying to be in the background a lot, but I know you are slowly growing and learning the skills you need to become happy. And that's so important. The other thing is when I'm having a sort of lower self-esteem day, hey, I'm human. When I'm having a lower self-esteem day, I do things to shift my mindset. Yesterday, I was a little bit overwhelmed. And instead of going to bed overwhelmed, I decided to put on a video on YouTube of the 15 top teen talents on America's Got Talent. And I want to tell you, it was like, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe more, maybe it was half an hour, but it was the best thing I could do for me. Why? I was so amazed at their talent. I literally had tears running down my face. I literally was going, oh my goodness, how does somebody at 12 have a voice like that? And I was in awe. Now think about that. By the time I finished watching 15 awe-inspiring young people, how do I feel? All right? I feel great. And so when I went to bed last night, even though I was half an hour later than I originally intended, I went with a great mentality, all right? I was feeling good. I was glad that I had spent the time. Yeah, Nada's saying, sounds fun. I need to schedule more me time. You know something, Nada? I want to go back to a quote that I quote quite often. Hold on one second. And I keep it in my notes in case I want it again. And that is, where did I put it? Did I suddenly nuke it? Anyway, it's about making time for yourself. All right, slow down, and do more. And part of making the time for you, you know what happens, Nada, is that we feel that spending time on ourselves is something we should feel guilty about. And I don't agree with it. I think spending time on you is about honoring who you are. I want to tell you that since I have retired, I have learned to spend a lot more time on me. And so, Nada, I have a request for you, if you wouldn't mind. Jody just emailed me to tell me that she has had to walk away from the computer for a while. I wonder if you could be the stand-in admin for me for a little while. Is that possible? So remember to give thanks for what you have got. Right? I constantly say to you guys, you are in the top 5%. Thanks, Nada. Top 5% of the world. If you've got a roof over your head, if you've got some income, if you've got, a car outside, if you've got, it might not be paid for, but if you've got a car outside, if you've got a place to sit, if you've got wood on your floors and not dirt, you're in the top 5% of the world. And sometimes we need to remember to be grateful for that. I am inclined, when my self-esteem is low, to reread certain books. One of them, and I've got it on a PDF so I can go back and just get stuff from it anytime I want to, is you hear me quote Dr. Wayne Dyer a lot, and the reason is that he helped me out of depression. He doesn't know that, but he did. Why? Because I read his book, Your Erroneous Zones, and what I realized was, boy, this is about me. And it helped me get out of depression and anxiety and all those sort of things. But it's brutal in places. You know what I mean? It's so, he didn't sugarcoat anything. And, it sort of hits you like this. And some of that stuff you don't want to admit is true if you're human. And it took me a long time to work through some of them. But I have to tell you that it was instrumental in changing my whole life, because after I, read it, I now knew this was my problem, not somebody else's. Right? The pills weren't going to do it for me. I needed to learn to grow up. And one of the things Oh, wait a minute. Let me just stop for a second because Nada just wrote something to me and I wanted to. Okay for me to share that, Nada? No, it wasn't off topic. No, it's lowering your self-esteem. I don't believe that is off topic. So I just needed the okay to share it. Okay, so what Nada said someone I'm close to knows someone who committed suicide recently, and now they are projecting onto me. I feel bad and pray for them, but they are making me struggle more than I feel I should be. Okay, can anybody make you struggle? Nada? Just I'm just going to be pretty straight with you because I know that's what you want. Or are you struggling with what you hear? I love your humor. Nada's saying, I guess it's my fault then. It's not your fault, but I want you to see that, you're in charge of your feelings. So if you are not putting down a boundary, so what happens? So this is someone I'm close to knows someone who committed suicide. Okay, so this is a third party thing. There's you, the person who's causing you to feel something, and then the person who committed suicide. So I that bit I can't comment on. What is happening between you and this person? What are they saying? If you can give me some sort of idea so I can, maybe help you specifically rather than generally. But as long as we start by understanding our feelings are our responsibility. All right, so now every time we hang out to talk, they bring this up and make me feel sad. And say, I don't want you, they don't want you to commit suicide, right? You understand they do not make you feel sad. I would like to say that you probably feel something other than sadness when you hear what they're saying to you. They don't trust you, right? Um, all right. So that's what I would do is if they start saying, and I don't want you to feel suicidal or whatever, I would answer them back, Nada, and say, actually, I feel fine. What is it that you are hearing or seeing from me that makes you feel that I might be suicidal? Right? Put the ball back in their court. When anybody is trying to do that and it's not right, you need to return the ball, Nada, and nicely, and say, hey, I hear the love. You obviously care about me. But what is it that you are reacting to in what I'm doing? And all right, they also have had other people in their life commit suicide. So now they're sad they didn't have better relationships with people. Ah, all right. And so they're then projecting saying that you should have better relationships with people. Yeah. You can see the bits, Nada. I'm so pleased that you can see the projections. And then maybe you can help their self-esteem, Nada, and say, one of the things I've always valued in you as a friend is you are honest about your feelings. And, one of the things that I've been working on recently is understanding that my feelings are my business. All right. And my feelings, in other words, I create them. From the way that I react to information I am given. And maybe talk to her about the hamster wheel, Nada, because you know about it, and how to get off it is you let go of the emotion and deal with the facts. And so what I would say is, hey, just for a second, because I want to understand where you're coming from, letting go of the emotion, what are the facts that you see that make you feel that I might commit suicide? And make sure you acknowledge the fact that you appreciate the fact that she is concerned. All right. So Nada's saying, I love them and I hate seeing them struggle. And their hamster wheel triggers me a lot. Yes. So do you help them off the hamster wheel, Nada? Do you help them slow down the hamster wheel and get their self-esteem back? Do you believe, let me ask you a question here before I talk a lot more about this, though. Nada, do you believe that we have the ability to help people who are suicidal? One of the greatest challenges I had, Nada, in my life was that a very dear friend of mine phoned me and said that, that her son was suicidal and could I come over there? And I said, hey, should you not be speaking? Should you not be speaking to the crisis hotline? And she said, no, the best person I know on this sort of stuff is you, because you make a lot of sense to young people. And I said, what if I fail? I had that conversation right up front, Nada. What if I fail? Will I, lose you as a friend? Because, it's like I want to come and help you as a friend, but I would hate to lose you as a friend. I made sure that the boundaries were pretty solid before I got in my car and went over there. And by the way, I went over there and I was perfectly honest with the young man. I said, the reason I'm here is your mom's scared you're going to commit suicide. Are you likely to? And he said, I was thinking about it. And I said, okay, well, you're not stupid. So why? He said, what? And I said, well, why? What are you trying to get away from? What's feeling so bad that you would want to do that? And he told me. And I went, okay, so what I'm hearing is you actually really need some help with this. Yes, but my mom won't help me with that. I said, okay, so we need to put some big boy pants on and see another way around this. But what if I could get you some temporary help with that? Sort things out a bit for you, make you able to, get your head above the water. And then I went and talked to Mom and said, hey, this is what he's really worried about. Any way we can help him? Not, to take on responsibility for what was going wrong, but just to help him, hold his hand and help him through that period. And we did. And, she was forever grateful. But you understand, I cannot stop somebody from committing suicide. What I can do is to put my hand out and see if they want to take it. Yeah, isn't that true, Nada? That's very wise. That's very wise. She's saying, right, it takes a certain type of person to crack the egg and feel comfortable doing that. Yeah, I remember once being on a motivational course, Nada, and one of the things that they said that always stuck in my mind, to make scrambled eggs, you have to break eggs. You can't make fried eggs or scrambled eggs without cracking the egg. All right. Sometimes you just need to pierce that shell and get to what's inside it and then go, okay, fine. Now what have we got here? And so in order to try and help you, let me see what you said here. I tried to help with things for years. It wasn't the right people or timing, but I definitely have made progress now. I see it. Yes, I can see it too, Nada. So here's the thing. Yes, the cracking the breaking egg may make something good. Absolutely. And, the thing is this, that most people, like a cake. Yeah, much better than scrambled egg. But, most people are terrified of the truth, especially if they're dealing with somebody who, is vulnerable. And I found that whenever I try to help somebody who's vulnerable, I just try to get to the truth. I'm not interested in all the emotion. What I'm interested in is, what are you scared of right now? What's going on? Because you don't talk like this unless you're scared of something, right? There are two emotions, love or fear. And if you're in that level of fear that you're thinking about taking your life, then that's a pretty serious thing. And your self-esteem is pretty low. So I think it is related, Nada, and I thank you for bringing it up. And so here's what Wayne Dyer said. Maybe this will help a little bit. He said, you have the power to choose. You choose to be who you are, and you have the power to change your to be in charge of your thoughts at present moments. Happiness is a choice, and it comes from within. Happiness is a choice, and it comes from within. So if I had this person constantly projecting their sadness onto me, Nada, I would go, I can hear how sad you are. I can hear how sad you are. What can I do to support you? I want to tell you, Nada, those are the most magical words to use with somebody who is on the hamster wheel and doesn't want to get off. All right? And it stops them. It stops them from running because they have to think. Or Nada's saying, it's hard. I'm an emotional sponge. Yeah, so you need a boundary. So whenever somebody is going on and on and on, just with emotion and not giving me any facts, I will go, hang on one second. I hear that you are in a lot of pain. And you have phoned me presumably for some help. So what can I support you in at the moment? What is it that you feel you need to do next? All right. And it's amazing how they go, well, actually, not very much, just listen to me. And you go, well, there's a difference. And I would say this, Nada, I would set the boundary for them. There is a difference to letting you just go on and on the hamster wheel for 10 minutes at a time. I'm going to be a friend and say to you, next time you call, I'm going to allow you 5 minutes of feeling sorry for yourself and doing this emotional stuff. And after that, I'm going to let you know it's 5 minutes now. And then I'm going to ask you the question, how can I help you right now? How can I support you? What is your next step? I'm going to ask you questions to get you off that hamster wheel. Is that okay with you? Because I consider that's what a friend does. And sometimes, Nada, we just don't have the words, right? We know intellectually we need to stop the hamster wheel. And by the way, if you do 10 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever it is, you make the boundary, and then they carry on, you go, Joan, I told you that I would listen to 5 minutes of this. Now, either we're going to start working on how to help you off this, or else I need to put the phone down. I love you dearly, but I'm not going to just let you carry on doing this to yourself, because this is not good for you. This is lowering your self-esteem. I want to be your friend and help you. And in sort of empowering your pity party is not helping you. So I can't do that. Does that make sense, Nada? I say, my friends know me, right? They will start, blah, 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 and I go, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And they go, what? And I go, did you phone me for sympathy or help? And they go, what? I said, did you phone me for sympathy or help? Because I don't do sympathy very well. It's not that I don't, Nada. I just refuse to waste the time. All their other friends can give them sympathy. Me, you phone me because you want help. Am I right? And they'll go, well, actually, yeah. And I go, okay, so let's stop the emotional BS, right? Let's get off the hamster wheel and let's talk about the facts. And they go, yeah, but, and I go, no more yeah, buts, okay? What are the facts here? Let me help you with the facts. And what I will do is I will be taking notes while they're doing the emotional stuff, Nada, trying to pull out what facts I can. Somebody committed suicide. They're feeling it. They are now projecting that onto me. And I'm sucking into this stuff. So, if you are sucking in their emotional stuff, then you need to strengthen your boundary. And the way you do that is to ask them questions. Does that make sense, Nada? Just go, oh, I hear that you are concerned now that I might be suicidal. I just need to tell you straight up, factually, no, I'm not. Now then. Yeah, Nada. It takes practice, though, honey. You know, look how white my hair is, Nada. It takes practice to get those boundaries in. So the fastest way, all right, that I know of is if you've got somebody that's doing this and then projecting all of that out at you, the fastest way I know of that is you just put a solid line here and then start asking questions. Now, it's also called active listening. I hear you say, now I want to give some words around this. I hear you say you are fearful that I might be suicidal. Is that correct? Right? Slow them down. Get them off this. Slow them down. And go, okay, fine. I also hear you say da 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 da. Is that correct? You see, you're just helping them get to the facts. And then I also heard you say da 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 da. Is that correct? And then what you do is you say, okay, hold on a second. Let's just get rid of all the emotion. And now let's deal with those three things. That I can help you with. All right. So you just labeled yourself, Kimmy. Kimmy is saying, I'm an empath. I feel everybody's pain. I had to learn to turn it off. So you understand, even though, do you think I'm an empath to some degree? I have to be. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this, right? But the other part of me goes, I'm not helping people with feeling, keeping them on the hamster wheel. If I am truly empathetic and I can feel their pain, then also I can help them take the next step out of that hamster wheel. So I use that in a positive way rather than a negative way. And so, Nada, let me ask you, do you feel that you might be able to do it just a little bit better than you have been doing it? And if so, that is major step forward in your self-esteem. This is like, yeah, I just wasn't quite sure what to say. And so this question, did you phone me for sympathy or help? And by the way, if they say sympathy, you can say, okay, I sympathize. Now I need to get on with something. You know, and leave the conversation. Or if you want help, I could help you take some steps forward. Another saying, yes, I do try, but we'll try more and be more calm. Yeah, don't even try, just do it, Nada. You know what I mean? And by the way, if they don't want to calm down, I will literally say to them, Nada, and I understand I've had a few years more practice, but I will literally say, you know, I'm trying to help you, but you want to carry on regurgitating, you know, over and over the same things emotionally. I cannot help you until you want to listen to some steps that you might be able to take. Then I can help you. You know, so what I'm going to do is say, why don't you just get a grip? Take your time, whatever you need, cry if you need to, that's fine, and call me back when you are ready to get out of the hamster wheel, because it must be so painful. But obviously it isn't right now, right? Because you are ignoring every attempt I make to try and help you. And you know, why do we do that, Nada? I mean, you've done it, I've done it. Why do we do that? When people try and help us, why do we go, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but? I've done it a lot. Because we want to be right. We don't want to get it fixed. We want to be right. So what Wayne Dyer said, by controlling your thoughts, you control your emotions. and the way you feel. You want to write that down, Nada? By controlling your thoughts, let me know if you don't have a pen. By controlling your thoughts, you control your emotions and the way you feel. So when we have somebody in the hamster wheel, and even if that person is ourselves, and we put down, I am not going to let the emotion through anymore. That's my boundary. I am now going to deal with the facts. Does that make sense? All right. And whether it is, I was thinking about Erin with her biopsy coming up, anybody who's got medical issues going on. All right. Of course, you're going to get wound up with the emotion, but if you stay there, you're going to make yourself more sick. Now, let me know if you need me to repeat the quote. And so part of what I do when I'm dealing with people with stuff going on, I will say, I'm so sorry to hear that, because that's true for me. But then I will, say, what can I do to support you right now? What is it you're scared of? What is it I can help you process? You see, I'm looking to help, not to let this carry on. Because this will carry on when I'm not around. Okay, the actual quote is, by controlling your thoughts, you control your emotions and the way you feel. Yes, that's great, Kimmy. Kimmy's saying, and if you keep thinking about it, it'll make you more sick. Of course, because you're lowering your everything, all right? So Nada, this friend of yours, all right, is a great person. I'd like you to have a Sal thought about this, right? When I have somebody like that coming at me, I go, oh, this is a lesson. Yeah. The big wise one has sent me a lesson to practice on, right? Let me see how well I do. And I'm not joking. When somebody attacks me verbally, I obviously have feelings, and it takes me a little while to get a grip. And then I go, okay, let go of that. It was just words, and time for me to move on. But what I do is I see these things in my life as lessons. All right. So Nada's saying, oh, wow, my chat was glitched and refreshed to see people now. Waves. Okay. So Nada, I'm certain everybody will be pleased to see you there. But, wonderful. And thank you so much for covering for Jody. I appreciate that. But, just because you were here and talking about that, do you know how many people you've helped, Nada? How many other people have got something like this going on that needed that? And by the way, Nada, one of the things that I found is that when I can create that barrier and go, okay, fine, I'm not going to listen to all of this. I'm going to deal with this, this, and this. Okay. Then I not only set the boundary for them and help them slow down. What does it do to your blood pressure when you go all the time, right? Help them slow down, but also helps me deal with things in a systematic way. So when we look at it, Nada, I could spend a lot of time talking to Jody or Erin and about the fact that they feel sick. All right. Do I do that? Nope. I acknowledge the fact that they're not well. But that's not what they need me for. In my view. All right. My job as their friend is to help them, enjoy their day. And maybe take a 3-second break away from whatever it is that's, just going around in circles in their head. I think that is really important. That's what I think a friend does. So I will say, hey, I'm so sorry you're struggling with this. And then I will move on to something that I can help change their mind a little bit. You know what I mean? Just change the dynamic, slow them down a bit. And one of the things that I would ask you to ask yourself, all right, or ask them is, what's right with you? What? No, I hear you saying all these things that are going on that are wrong. But what I'd like to know is, what is right with you at the moment? All right, so Kimmy's saying that she got her 3rd vaccine today. So she's thinking positive thoughts that you don't get sick. You've had reactions to the other 2. Am I correct there, Kimmy? Listen, Nada, you understand? That's factual. So let's see if we can show this, right? So when I go back to, so I need to acknowledge the fact that Kimmy has had problems before. That's factual. That's not her going on a hamster wheel or low self-esteem. It's factual that she has had problems before. Okay, so here's my next thing I would ask Kimmy. Thanks, Kimmy, for being our guinea pig here. Kimmy, for how many days were you sick from the other vaccines? All right, so now I'm looking for information. Because what I know is that Kimmy survived the other 2. All right, so I want to know factually about a week each time. Okay, what did you learn from those weeks that you were not feeling so good? I mean, were you literally bedridden for a week, or were you just not feeling too good for a week? I'm asking a lot of questions because they're coming into my mind, Kimmy. One of the questions I have for you is, what did you do to feel better, or did you just have to wait it out? So Nada, you understand, I am talking practical things to Kim. All right, so she's giving me the information that while she was sick before, she was both bedridden for some time and then up sometime not feeling good. All right, so the good news is you weren't bedridden for a solid week. Thank goodness for that. So now then, Kimmy, Kimmy, do you have any streaming television? Yeah, you did things even though you felt sick. Yeah. You know what I would suggest is be prepared to be sick for a week, right? Because that's your history. If it comes, and if it doesn't, be great. Be prepared to be sick, right? You know what I'm about. Be prepared to be sick. Make sure you got the right meds ready. Then I would say I would spend the next few hours researching what would I like to binge watch. All right. Is there something on streaming television that you've been really looking forward to binge watching? And I'd get a list of them, and just go, if I need to slow down, and that's what being sick is all about, isn't it? It's slowing down and not being able to do as much. And if I need to sleep more, you let me at least enjoy it. What book would I like to read? Boy, that's one of the best things you can do, Kimmy, is, do you have the ability to read a book digitally, or have you got a book at home that you would like to read? Because one of the best ways to fall asleep is to read a book. And one of the best ways to get ourselves healthy when we are not well with the flu or something is to get more sleep. And lots of liquid, they tell me. And I'm pretty sure they gave you a little sheet and told you what to do. So what if you saw it as, yay, I've got another week of not being able to do too much. What do you need other people to do in your household? Let's start delegating it now. Right. Kimmy's saying, I had to stop listening to everybody telling me I was crazy, stupid for getting the shots, and it was going to do all sorts of things for me. Yeah. That takes self-esteem, Kim. Right? That takes self-esteem. And the thing is, here you are, and they are all bombarding you with negative things. All right? But you believe that you are safer for having it. That is your right, Kim. And you don't have to get nasty. You don't have to get nasty. You just say, hey, I hear the love. You understand when they're being nasty to you on this, taking the shot and putting yourself at risk, that what they're really saying is, we're worried for your health. So I diffuse people when they do that, and I go, I hear the love in that. I really do, but I've still decided that I want to have the vaccine, and I'm not prepared to change that to please you. I need to please myself. It's my body. So I'm so proud of you, Kim, all right, for doing what you think is right. And you know something I said last night when I was having this conversation with Marnie about vaccines, and I said, you know, it may be 5 years from now that they could be right. But I'm still glad I made my decision for me with the information that I had. Yeah, round of applause for Kimmy. I'm so proud of you, Kimmy. And yes, you do need a little bit more help with your housework, probably generally, not just because you may be getting a bit sick, but you may not get sick. Don't bring it on yourself, all right? But what I think is you probably can do with more help with the housework overall. Isn't that true? And don't hope somebody helps you a little bit with the housework. Kimmy, tell them what you want done. Are they men in your household? You know, men are not clairvoyant, Kim. I found, you know, unfortunately, it took me a long time to find that out. They are not clairvoyant. You know, if you've got one or two men in your family, and you're starting not to feel well, I would post it on the fridge somewhere where you know they're going to go a lot. All right. And these are the things, you know, and I'm going to make up names here, Kimmy. John, these are the things I need you to do while I'm not well. And Fred, these are the things I need you to do. And, you know, they can't say they didn't know, Kim. You know, I always like the one that said, I need you to cook dinner or arrange for takeout. Your choice. You know, either cook it or have it brought in, but, you know, bring a meal to me. But the other thing is, Kimmy, how often do you step in and pick up the pieces because they haven't done their job? You have pups to feed. And, you know, yeah, so you have to take care of them. No, there are other people that could take care of them, but do you trust anybody else to take care of them? That is my question. All right. Do you trust anybody enough to take care of them as much as you take care of them? I think that is your problem. And probably rightfully so, Kim. So you can say to them, you can either get up every 2 hours and feed these puppies, or you can do some of the easier things that are on the list. Because the chances are I'm going to be falling in and out of sleep anyway. Yeah. You see, Kimmy, yeah, and that's the whole thing. We don't delegate things that we don't trust people with. All right? We delegate the things that we think they're capable of doing. So what I also do is when I delegate something to somebody, Kim, I check up on them. You know, I make sure that they understand what I have delegated. And by the way, I don't nag them. Right? It's like you wanted to help. The way that you can prove to me that that was a true statement is by doing the things that are on the list. And if they say, oh, what can I do to help? Yeah, read the list and do something on there. A lot. And, it is like, you will prove to me how much you love me by how many of those things leave the list. And I want you to feel the love as you're doing them, because what you're doing is proving to me how much you love me and how much I can trust you. Thank you. Yeah, if you nag, it doesn't help at all, does it? Right. I found that you've heard me talk about that, Kimmy, about when I inherited children. And every Sunday, I'd give them their full pocket money for the week. Way more than they expected every week. There'd be, and I'd actually write it up on a blackboard. And they got so excited, I'm going to get that much money. I said, yeah, but here's the thing. During the week, if I have to nag you, I'm deducting. What? Well, this is if I don't have to nag you all week, you're going to get this much. But if I have to remind you 16 times, by the way, I won't. I will remind you twice, and the third time I will deduct money. It's up to you how much money you make. I want to tell you something. They got really good with math, but they also got really good with reality. I can remember the little one wasn't big enough to be able to read, but he knew what it meant if I was busy marking the board where his name was. He knew that I was there. And then he'd be going to his brother, Robert, why is she taking money off me? And he would just go, because she asked you twice to go get your shoes off the lawn, and they're still there. No, hold on, Sal, hold on. And he'd come back with his shoes, and I'd just rub off the thing I just deducted and go, oh, well done. So, Kimmy, reward good behavior. All right? So every time they get something off the list, remind them, thank you for showing me how much you truly care. It's not just words. You're not just lip service. You are showing me how much you love me. I thank you for that. Well done, guys. I love it. I love it when you bring these everyday examples that we can work with so that we can help give people real life things. I've got to say that, Nada, you came in at the perfect time to be able to give Jody the room. Jody needed to go, and she did. And she knew that I could cope well without her if necessary. But why would I, Nada, when I've got you there? Right? Because I didn't know Kimmy was there, or else I might have asked her as well. But, it's just like, yeah, you're saying it was meant to be, I guess. Crazy. You see, I don't believe in coincidences. Ever. Nada. I don't believe in coincidences. And you see, how much did Jody need to trust that I'd be just fine? I need Jody there. Don't get me wrong. I love it when she's there backing me up. But how many years did I manage to do broadcasts without her there? Right? So she knows I can do it. It's not as easy, but she knows I can do it. And by the way, if I've got guys that love me as much as you and Kimmy do, why would I struggle? Why would I just not ask one of you to help me if I need it? I know asking for help is not a weakness. Definitely not a weakness. It takes a village, right? And I thank you with lots of love, Nada, for picking up the ball. It is awesome of you to do that. I just want to move on a little bit here. I'm going to run a little bit over because we lost a lot of the broadcast with the technical problems, but I'm wonder whether any of you are being affected by, and I'm talking about the people in the US, being affected by the loss of benefits that is about to happen in the States. Are any of you about to feel that loss? Because I want to talk through those feelings. Nada is saying, thank you all for being here and supporting me. It's why we're here, Nada. If you haven't worked that out yet, that is where we get to feel great, is when we can help somebody. And you helped us. It's a two-way trade, Nada. You don't have to be perfect to be growing. You need to be honest and say, this stuff is messing with my mind. How do I stop it? You see, that's the difference. In the old days, you would just try and take it all in and try and sort it all out without the words, just put a boundary up. And it's just like, I remember those days, Nada. The only thing that stopped them is if they gave me enough medication that I couldn't think anymore. Just like, no, I really have no wish to do that anymore. So any of you being affected by the stopping of the job benefits and social benefits that have been out for the pandemic? I understand that more than 7 million people are going to be affected. People who are out of work are going to be affected, and they're going to get a really hard reality call. And my question is, what if it's somebody that you know? Do any of you have family or friends that are being affected by it? And if so, do we need some words that we can give them? Because I'm pretty sure that they're going to be angry, and I'm pretty certain they're going to feel entitled to have more money coming their way. And so, let me know if we need to find words for those sort of situations. It's going to be, so I read, it's going to be one of the largest and most abrupt ends to government aid in US history. Why? Because it has been the biggest and largest, all right? And so the fact that they need to stop it now to get people back to work. And a lot of people who don't want to go back to work, they'd rather not have the work and take the benefits. So it's a lot of people are going to have to put on the big boy pants and find work. Yeah. And, it's happening at a time when, the cases are spiking again. Will they need to put it back into place? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see. So just be aware, be prepared for people to be using some pretty harsh language. And by the way, it's like, it can't go on forever. We need people to go back to work. We've got, I think, I know it's slightly different here in Canada, but, the thing is that my friends are going back to work now. They're not going back full time in their jobs, but they are going into the offices now 2 or 3 times a week. All right. They're transitioning back into the office. So just be aware. If you got any issues with that, let us know so we can find some words. Anybody have any achievement this week? Feelings of achievement? I had huge achievement this week. How many of you have been following my shower story? I got the new shower, but I didn't get the new hardware in the shower. So I thought I'd show you that I actually got it this week. I was so excited. There you go. Can you see that? So that is a big rain shower, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. And it also has a separate hand shower. But you'll never guess what. I didn't expect it, but I can have the rain shower on or the hand shower on, and then I can actually have them both on at the same time. Talk about fancy. And by the way, When you stand under that rain shower, why? Hi there, Tab. Good to see you. Welcome. When I stand under that rain shower, it actually wets my whole body if I wanted to. Most of the time I wanted to go from here backwards, right? But, when I really want to rinse my hair and everything, I can stand under the whole thing. And this thing is so big, it just literally drowns my whole body. And when I'm, washing my hair and got the water from this point onwards, it is totally streaming down my back. And it's just like, it feels so luxurious. So am I glad that I fought for that? Because you remember I had to fight to get it. Yeah, absolutely. How many of you remember that my new vanity? Yeah, you're right, Nada. Nada's saying, I bet it feels like the rain washing and cleansing your soul. I want to tell you that whole shower, I know it was a fortune of money, and it was very difficult transferring that money, Nada. Very difficult. But what helped me every time was remembering how much different I feel in the shower. I'm not sitting in a shower trying to, wash. I literally have all this room. And now I have a hand shower so I can clean the shower easily without having to bend down and do things, which is more difficult at my age. And by the way, that hand shower has two different speeds on it. It has a hello, I am a nice shower. And then it has now you want some serious shower, let me show you type thing in it, right? Which is great for cleaning, bits that have got behind things and so forth, because it's a big shower to clean. And so that is exactly why I wanted the hand shower, and also for safety reasons when I get even older and not quite as stable, that when I need to sit down and shower, that I will have a hand shower that is capable of reaching everywhere. So there we go. I think happiness is what makes you pretty. Period. Happy people are beautiful. How many of you agree with that quote? That being happy every day makes you a prettier person. And if you feel pretty, how's your self-esteem? I never, ever do anything but smile when I hear that Jody is busy doing self-care stuff. She's bought new makeup. She's busy giving herself a pedicure. She's busy giving herself a new manicure, whatever. It is all stuff that helps her self-esteem. By the way, with the medication she was being on, she's been losing a lot of hair. Well, guess what? She's learned different ways to do her hair. So, and it's like, yeah, something? She works hard at her self-esteem. And I, for one, want to, just give her an incredible amount of praise for doing that. And I look at it and go, looking after you isn't a waste of time. It is essential. I now know that my write speed is a lot slower than it used to be. For all those years that I worked, everything was a rush. Everything was a rush. And now I've learned, no, nothing has to be a rush anymore. It took as long to do the deficiencies in my house as it did to rebuild my house. Can you believe that? I was out of my house for 6 months to the day, just about. And then it's taken nearly 6 months to get the little bits done. But, it takes as long as it takes. And I, tried to stay fair and friendly the whole time. And just only when they started to get funny about me signing off before it was finished, did I start to get pretty firm and say, remember, when this job is finished, I will sign off on it. Yeah, but no buts. And then guess what? Now listen to this for self-esteem, right? I was told that the new lights that need to go in, I had to go buy them. And I'm going, I don't think so, because they're part of the deal. There was a budget made up for replacing the lights, and the electrician was meant to get them. But what I'm doing is I'm being fair and friendly. So when they said the reason we haven't done it is because you haven't bought the new lights, I'm going, no, I don't think so, but never mind, right? It's not the end of my world. And so what I went and I quickly ordered online my 2 lights, and then I sent the invoices to the top guy, the guy that controls the money. And I said, please add these to my bill, because there's the amount that they have budgeted to cover, and then there's the extra stuff that I have had to put in invoices for that I need to get paid for, replacing certain things and so forth. And so, I just literally just sent the 2 bills, said, please add them to the master list. And the next thing I got back was an email saying, you're not meant to have bought these. Why are you paying for these? And I wrote back and said, I totally agree. But you guys are pushing me to get this finished, and the fastest way to get it finished was to do what I was told, which was, and I can send you a copy of the email if you need it, I need to go and buy these lights. So I did. Now I'm asking that you repay me for them. Do you understand the self-esteem that takes? Right? It's like, hey, can't have it both ways. Jody, thank you for your kind comment. Jody's saying you are the best self-esteem boost a girl could ever hope for. And Kimmy said, Jody, I agree. Well, thank you both, with tears in my eyes. Thank you both. But you know something? If you didn't care enough to come and join in the broadcast, how could I help? You see, you take the time to look after your mental health. You come here and listen to the broadcast. And you learn along the way, and that hopefully helps your self-esteem as well as your feelings and your life and your stress levels and everything else that we deal with every week. But Jody, it's never a one-way trade, right? You look at what you do to help me, even though you're sick, even though you're not feeling well, even though whatever, I've never heard you give excuses. You give me facts. Hey, I need to take a break. That's fact. And I also know that when you come back, you'll let me know. So this is that's trust, Jody. That's trust, all right? And I love you for that you trust me to that degree. You don't need me to pamper you or whatever, you know what I mean? I know that. The first question I asked you when I heard that you had some issues going on was, get to the beach. Why? I know that you are about to go through a long, hard winter, and I have not heard you, although I know that you're more able today than you have been in all the time that I've known you, that you have still not been to the beach. And this is like, hey, get to the beach, for goodness sake. Do your soul a big favor. You are what, an hour away from the beach? And I know what it will do for your self-esteem, and I know what it will do for your soul. And it doesn't matter if you have to dress warmly, and imagine what the fluff ball is going to do. Sand? This is sand? Oh, and that's water? And how much are you going to laugh watching the fluff ball? He's never been. I know that, Jody. So, to me, this is like, do the family a favor, all of you, right? Before that weather comes, doesn't matter which beach, Kimmy, she needs to get to, Jody loves the beach. Always has. And so, she's spent, to my knowledge, Jody, I think you've been once in the time that I've known you, which is quite a while. So get back there. Before the weather changes, please get back there. And I don't care if you only spend 10 minutes there. It's not about the length of time. But when I ask you, Jody, have you been to the beach yet? You go, yeah. And will it be easy? Of course not. But can you do it if you want to? Jody, I would have you remember that part of my goal in life was to be able to get away from being obese. And how long has it taken me? and I'm still working on it, right? But, I'm getting there, as you know, step by step. And have you noticed I'm actually getting a bit of shape here now? So exciting. There's just a little bit of shape coming back. It was like, wow, look at that. Um, so I look at it and go, this is a long, hard journey. And my blood sugar is up um, just, the last couple of days. Well, I'm not surprised. It's not that I'm eating any differently. I just don't think I'm drinking enough water. I really sat down and said, you're eating the same way. So what is causing your blood sugar? And I realized I don't think I'm taking enough liquids. It's a lesson I learned early on. I just have let that bit go. And so if I want to not get up in the morning and feel badly about my blood sugar, I need to start drinking more water again. Yeah, it's like it's not by accident. The same way is I haven't lost 4 or 5 inches now around my stomach, believe you me, I couldn't believe that I've lost that much because I can't imagine what it looked like with another 5 inches on my stomach. That's the thing. The other thing I noticed, and I was saying this to Jody, is I think I've lost significant inches on my hips because, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a lot more bagginess about the hip area, and my trousers are falling down. And that's good because it means I need new ones. All right, so Jody's saying it's so plain to see the shape is changing. Thank you. So it's obvious, right? But it's taken consistent hard work. No, actually, since I started the new eating regimen, in other words, I still, yeah, as you know, I still have all good food. I just have a set way in which I eat every day, and the portions are different. I'm still eating bad stuff, believe you me. I really enjoyed fries this week. I hadn't had fries in the longest time. But I just didn't fry them in oil. I just literally put a little bit, like a tablespoon of oil in a casserole dish, threw the fries in, shook it up, and then put them in my toaster oven on a very low heat for about 250 for about an hour. And then at the last minute, I put them under the broiler. And that way they were fully cooked, and then they crisped up at the last minute, and they were awesome. So simple. So think about these little things. How many of you have got printers at home that you use? One of the things I talk about is new habits. My new habit with my printer is, as I'm unpacking, you can probably imagine I've got a mountain of papers I need to sort through and shred or destroy. Shred or reuse. What I decided was that's an awful lot of paper. And if you think about it, how much of the stuff that you print out is, for your use, not somebody else's? Most of it, right? And so what I'm doing now is every day I take a little handful of paper and I check it, because that's what I'm trying to do, is to check the paper. And then I decide, is this critical stuff that I need to shred, or is this stuff I can just reuse the back? And I am feeding that paper into my printer. By the way, make sure you get it the right way up. And reusing it. Now, think how much paper that's going to save me this year. By the way, when I get my groceries delivered, and they give me the 2-page printout of what I've ordered and what they've delivered, I save that, take the staples out of it, put it in my printer. So to me, this is not about I can't afford paper. right? This is about, the bills and stuff are normally printed on both sides, so that is something I would shred. Yeah, I'm talking about the stuff where it's only printed on one side. Now, every now and then you will make a mistake. I tried to print something the other day that actually was a good thing that I was trying to print. And of course, I had some gobbledygook on the back of it. And I went, oh, yeah, put clean paper in when you're doing this one. So I took out my dirty paper, as I call it, and put in the clean paper, reprinted it, and then, but it's just a thought. Think about that. Another achievement I had this week was I did manage to vote by mail this week. We also have an election at the moment. Actually, we have an election, a federal election going on right this month. And as you know, I only recently got to be a voter because all my life I'd been traveling in other countries and I was a permanent resident, but never a citizen. And the one place I was a citizen, I wasn't allowed to vote. Or I was, but I never did. So what was it, 10 years ago that I became a Canadian citizen? I can't remember exactly when, but anyway, I became a Canadian citizen, and now I get to vote. And I'm trying different ways. I've been and done it in person, and now this time I decided, let me try and do it by mail, see how that works. Yeah, that worked. Boy, was that quick. Much easier. No, you saved money on the gas, saved money on standing in the cold. Just literally, I think I applied online, and 2 days later I had all the documentation. I read it through it and then made my decision and put it back in the mail. It was wonderful. All right, everybody. Thank you for your patience, and I hope that you can see that sometimes it is important that we go through the difficult stuff. How many of you know that it is difficult? I could have, let me put it this way. When something major went wrong with the broadcast today, and I realized it wasn't just a case of I needed to get up another link. There was something really wrong. That I had to completely reboot and come up again. Do you understand that was easy to just say, hey, I'm not going to do it. I'll just cancel the broadcast. But imagine if I had. We wouldn't have had this discussion with Nada. We would not have had this discussion with Kim. And we would not all have learned something from it. Kimmy's asked me, when do I get rid of bank statements? 7 years. I think I'm correct in saying that that's the. If you are putting in your tax returns properly, I think it's a business. 7 years, Jody, as well. Yeah, okay. I'm glad that it's the same in the U.S. So, and quite honestly, in this day and age, do we actually need to keep them? Oh, you probably have them. Mine are all digital now. Yeah, Max is interesting. Hola, Chris. Chris, you've had your third shot. So has Kimmy. Yeah. So, best of luck, guys. Good job. I'm not. I must admit that I have not been advised that it's time for me to take my third shot, but I will when I get advised. I won't consider it to be, something that I don't want to do. It's something that I do want to do, and really important stuff. So keep doing the right things. And by the way, anybody who tells you that you're stupid to do it, whatever. All right, so Nada, you are in the States, right? No, Nada, you are in Canada. You're in Canada. Nada, they are thinking, it depends, again, also, I think it depends which vaccine you had to start with. They are not doing a third shot on Moderna, or maybe it is, no, AstraZeneca, I don't think. But they are doing, suggesting a third shot with Pfizer and I think Moderna. You guys will be able to tell me what is happening in the States. I think AstraZeneca is still a big question mark everywhere. So the reason is that they want to, because of the Delta variant, they want that third shot to make sure you're covered for that. Yes, if you have an autoimmune issue, they will tell you to get a third shot. Yeah. And I think also they will probably tell those that are elderly, to get a third shot. So I could be considered elderly, and I might get the instruction to have a third shot. But they'll let me know. The other thing is, I want to tell you something really funny, which is, I was sitting talking to my neighbor the other day about something, and she was talking about something like the third shot or whatever. And she asked me a question, and I said, oh gosh, do you really think that I keep that information in my brain? And she said, what do you mean? And I said, that is really important information. And that's information that I would go to my personal photo, what do you call it? Yvonne has a photographic memory. So, I know I don't have to worry about things like that. So I said, hold on a second. And I picked up my phone and I texted Yvonne and I said, Yvonne, I've just been asked, could you give me the answer? And I'm not joking, within seconds, a minute at the most, I had about 3 different screenshots. Boom, 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 done. And I said, thank you, honey. And then I went, okay, the guru says. And she said, that's amazing. I said, I know. It's not what you know, it's who. Yeah, Jody is saying it is being recommended that everybody gets the third shot. Okay. Not only the immunocompromised. I think the immunocompromised and the aged will get theirs first, but then we'll go back and we will get the third shot for the rest of us. And the funny thing is, I don't normally get a flu shot, but I will get this one. No doubt about it. This is DearMamaSal saying, thank you for hanging in here with me today. I know we've gone a bit longer, but, we had a cutoff in the middle. And I want to make sure you get your fair share. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I want to thank Nada for looking after us for the while that she did. Thank you, Nada. Do that anytime. I might need you more. And also to Kimmy and everybody else that's listening in the background and everybody that's joined in. Thank you. It is when we discuss these things that we help so many people. This is DearMamaSal saying, I'll see you this evening when we talk about coping with life in general. And I will find something interesting for us to cook up just for the heck of it. This is DearMamaSal saying, bye-bye, everybody.